Hey everybody, I'd like to offer a few thoughts today on why diversity, equity, and inclusion work will be more important than ever in business, education, and even social circles. And the reasons I offer this view are not political, even though DEI, even as an acronym, has become kind of a political whipping boy, so to speak. And the reasons I say this are really much more practical. If a business, for example, wanted to sell products in China, they should have somebody on the team who can speak Chinese. In fact, since China is actually a diverse country, you'd probably want someone who speaks Cantonese, Szechuan, and so forth. And with regard to our demographics, although it might be really uncomfortable for some Americans, we are more diverse than we have ever been. And regardless of who's in control, that is our future. And it's not a uniquely American circumstance. 30% of the people who are German citizens are born somewhere other than Germany. And here in the United States, already the majority of the K-12 students in America are students of color. In addition to that, we're having some big demographic changes. Baby boomers are aging out of the workforce and retiring in high numbers. Almost every business operation, from running a McDonald's to big corporate work and everything in between, we are seeing huge shortages in health professions, education, and so forth. No one can find enough workers. And it's putting a lot of pressure to pay workers more, but it's part of the inflationary cycle that is affecting everybody's lives. And the solutions are not going to be simple political ones. I think honestly, when you look at the demographic change, even if somebody could, mobilize the whole US Army, kick every single illegal immigrant out, build a 700-foot high wall like in Game of Thrones, and it actually worked, none of which I think is reasonable. I don't think they'll be able to mobilize the military for domestic work. I don't think that they will build a wall that will effectively keep people out. A huge percentage of the illegal immigrants are simply people who overstay visas. They come by airplane. So if you build a wall, it doesn't really do a lot. And I'm not advocating in favor of, illegal immigration or something like that. I do support legal immigration, and I do think, especially in critical professions, technology fields, things like that, it provides a way for American businesses to have a competitive advantage, to have, a good, healthy visa program for offering employment to people who want to take jobs that Americans don't want to take legally. But at the same time, the demographics are only going to continue to accelerate this. Around the world, birth rates are dropping. Capitalism is squeezing people, so people need more education to have the same kind of earning power that you could have had coming out of high school in a former time. And as such, people are waiting to have babies until later in life. They're having fewer babies. And, you've seen countries like Japan, China, and across Europe have declining birth rates. If it wasn't for immigration, they would have fewer citizens. And fewer citizens means fewer people buying goods and services and things like that. And here in America, the birth rates continue to decline as well, offset by legal immigration, only to some degree, and illegal immigration, although that's a complex story. If you are a business and you want to have enough employees to run your business, then you want to have a business that can make your work environment exciting, engaging, palatable, and not toxic for people of minority backgrounds. So, having a Native American Heritage Month event at your business will serve your business well, because retaining your Native employees is much cheaper than finding new employees, and much more effective. And because there are many kinds of diversity represented, then all of the employee resource groups or working groups, affinity groups, they're defined in a number of different ways. These serve positive purposes. If you have an all-male gender equity team, you're missing some pretty, important perspectives, and the optics aren't so good. And the all-white racial equity team gives you the same problem. So attending to diversity, equity, and inclusion actually supports the attraction and retention of employees. People of color will constitute the majority of the U.S. citizenry. Certainly that's the case by 2045, and it doesn't matter if Democrats or Republicans are in control or what their policies are. That is the demographic reality. If America becoming more diverse is the sinking of the Titanic, you hit the iceberg ages ago, and you can rearrange the furniture all you want. Most of the politics around this really is political theater. And it is more likely to be successful to have a game plan for who's actually going to be here. And frankly, there's no need to be hating on each other. All of our grandkids are going to be busy marrying each other and making babies. This world will be ever more diverse. Figuring out how to get along, how to sell products and services to everybody is going to be most effective for everyone in business and in education. The majority of the students already are students of color, and that diversity will only accelerate. So figuring out how to have educational offerings that are engaging and track everyone to success will be really critical for successful educational institutions. And although it's a separate talk, which I'll cover in a different video, in spite of the attacks on education, the correlation between educational attainment and financial success are still undeniable. So if we had, perfect fairness and equity in America today, of course we don't, but pretend we did, our educational system alone, because it has such profound racial disparities, there's a racial predictability to who does well and succeeds and who does not, that system would engineer racially predictable financial disparities. We should want everyone in America to succeed, because it means we're all load-bearing citizens paying taxes rather than drains on the government. But it also more fully humanizes all of us and helps make the world a better and more vibrant place for all of us. So whether you want to succeed in business, in education, or socially, DEI is going to be really, really important. And we should prepare all of our citizenry, not for some fantasy land that will never exist, but for the world that they'll actually live in. One that will be full of many different kinds of people who will have the best chance for a long, healthy, happy life if they figure out how to get things done together. Miigwech.